Hello, I'm Sarah Jensen, editor of OEM Off-Highway, and today I'll be speaking with Rachel Mize, president of Stark Manufacturing. Thank you, Rachel, for speaking with me today. Just wanted to kind of get your insights into how Stark Manufacturing is handling things during the current coronavirus situation. How has that been going for you guys?
Well, it's always interesting because it's such a rapidly changing situation. But the main thing I think is just communication, 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 and that's with all the stakeholders. So, customers, suppliers, employees, community. It's just keeping everyone on the same page. That's been the key to keeping everyone going.
Mm-hmm. So, how are you guys going about doing that, keeping that communication going between everybody?
We have kind of a designated team with a group that is assigned to customers, a group that's assigned to suppliers, and then we have a daily update meeting. This is what's changed since yesterday. This is who's opened, who's closed. And then with employees, it is a challenge to not hold group meetings when you're trying to get information out to all of the employees. Yeah. But we have a bit of a tree system where we'll contact the production supervisors and it goes down to cell leads and then direct employees to make sure we aren't gathering people in too big of a space, into close quarters. And so we just have daily updates on anything that's changed. We have the employees, especially, you hear so much information here and there, and there's so many sources of information that may or may not be true. And so to just frequently communicate so they know exactly what's going on and they don't have to guess or, I heard at the grocery store this,
Right.
has been really important to keeping everyone comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. So could you maybe go a little bit into how things, if at all, have impacted business for Stark Manufacturing?
So we do have several product lines that are considered essential. So we work with military, obviously transportation, everything we do is some form of transportation, and then food production, so agriculture industry. So those lines have to keep going. Transportation is so varied that some transportation customers have been able to shut their plants down. And so that's where we've been in contact. Heavy truck is more open. Make sure we support those guys, especially for the service parts we provide in conjunction with production, because they're on the road transporting freight, especially now. Getting everything where it needs to be. So keeping those lines going, anything that doesn't need to be going, we've got shut down to keep as minimal people in next to each other as possible. Mm-hmm. But we do have several industries that are considered essential. So we are producing those products right now.
Okay. All right. And have you guys noticed or experienced any challenges as with the coronavirus issues? Is there anything with possibly supply chain that's impacted?
Most of our supply chain is located in North America. We had, in January with China being shut down, Lunar New Year, and then it extended for the coronavirus. We had a few hiccups, not too bad, but then once it started infiltrating Europe and North America, we've had a few issues here and there. We have, if at all possible, we have redundant suppliers for products, but being in our industry, everything is custom engineered. Mm-hmm. We're pretty vertically integrated, so we do a lot of machining in-house. So those things where we may not be able to get a component from a supplier, often we can come up with a contingency plan to keep that supply going. But it's something that you may update and check once a week. We're checking 2 times a day. So the planning and the purchasing group, deserve a gold medal because they're doing all of their work they would do in a week. They're doing daily because it just changes that frequently.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And do you have any sort of insight on how this might all impact business going forward, or just any future insights? I know that's kind of hard and difficult at this time.
I think it would be lovely if once this all blows over, we go, we turn the clock back to February 2020 and everything's as it was. I don't think it's realistic.
Right.
I think that with the government, the stimulus, the Families First Act, and the CARES Act, I think it's done a good job of softening the blow, but there's going to be inevitable fallout with the unemployment numbers being as they are. Things are going to change. I think the economy will weather through. Our foundation is good. Our infrastructure is good, but there will be a change in the way people are behaving when it comes back. It's going to be hard to get back to normal. Normal won't look the same as it was.
Right.
One thing I do think is interesting is so many people are teleworking that maybe haven't had the opportunity or done it in the past, and now they're being forced to. So I think we're going to see a lot more flexibility in the workspace, especially in manufacturing. I would like to say we're innovative on all fronts, but we're a bit old school in the industry. You've got to be at the plant. And so you can't be now. So we've found ways to get around that. And I think there may be some forced innovation and improvement and productivity and flexibility that we maybe, industry-wide wouldn't have explored before. So I know that, everyone's looking for work-life balance, and with the technology available now, that may change for the better once this is all over and people can return to work. It may look different, and it may be for the better.
Mm-hmm. Can you maybe give some examples of how you guys are going about that as a manufacturer and how you're making it work for people to be able to work from home? And
yeah, so we did an initial survey before we saw it happening in Europe. US is a little bit behind the timeline of Europe. So when we saw it happening, we said, okay, we're going to do a dress rehearsal. Everybody, we filled out surveys. What do you anticipate not being able at all to do from home? What can you do from home? What are your challenges? Do you have even internet that's fast enough to work on our VPN? Things like that. So we filled out that. We closed the gaps we knew existed. And then we just took a rotating schedule. So a few people would be gone Monday, a few people would be gone Tuesday. And then they came back, they had that feedback. Well, I did not know this would be as hard, or this wasn't as bad as I thought, or hey, when people aren't bugging me every 5 minutes, I can get a lot more done when I can look at something for 2 hours
right.
Straight. And so we took that information and made some changes to our network, made some changes to the the computers assigned to different people, and kind of created that contingency plan for when we assumed it would happen. And so we've got, if we have 5 quality engineers, 1 maybe at the plant every time because they need to be the eyes and ears out on the production floor.
Mm-hmm.
But then, they have that communication with the people who are working remotely. So it's been kind of a rolling schedule because there are some things you have to physically touch and be at the plant.
Right.
But if you have those people who can do that, then the people working remotely could take their work that they could normally do on the computer at the plant. So it's been a lot of cross-training and a lot of, working with each other and, I can't do this part of my job, but I could do this part of your job and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. Well, it sounds like you guys have really made a way to work done making it work.
Yeah.
And so has Stark Manufacturing been doing anything? I know we've been hearing a lot about manufacturers that are making initiatives or helping medical facilities with supplies or just donations or anything. Has there been anything you guys have been doing to either just help your local community or?
Yeah, we've reached out to the state task force for COVID-19 and then filed on the federal site. Here's all of our capabilities. Here's all of our equipment. Please contact us with what you need. We've had some inquiries and some discussions. We're not doing any manufacturing yet, but really just educating them. Here's what we can do. If you need us, please call us. I'm on the workforce board for our region. So the workforce board is made up of private industry and government partners, and together we kind of govern the workforce delivery system. So we have all of these self-employed individuals in the community or small businesses who now are shut down, they're unemployed, this has never happened to them before, and they don't know what to do. So we've been, come to us. We have a legal team, we have an accounting team, and kind of helping navigate through that. The Families First Act and the CARES Act are great. There's a lot of tools in there for those individuals to use, but deciphering that in a 384-page government document can be overwhelming, especially
Right.
when you're dealing with all the other stress going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just had an open door, virtual open door policy of here's our contact information, tell us your problem, we'll help you with it. Because being on the board for 3 years and then us being a larger company in the community, we've got those resources and that knowledge that they just, haven't ever had a need for anymore. And so to help the community kind of pull together and, what do you need? Let's figure out how to get it to you.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And so do you have any maybe thoughts or suggestions on what businesses could do to come out on the other side of all of this, or maybe what Stark Manufacturing will be doing or sort of planning ahead and how it plans to get through these times?
Yeah. So one of my favorite, I guess, role models is Alan Mulally, who helmed Ford. He got them through the recession, really started before the recession of 2008, turning them around. And one of his most common sayings was, you have to deal with the reality in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So, we can bemoan it, we can wish it didn't exist, but it does exist. And so
Right.
we've got to get past that. So here's the facts, here's the things we can't change. Now let's look and see what we can do about it. And, hey, we're operating at 50% capacity. Well, there's all these great changes and plans and research things we wanted to do that we just don't have time to do when we're operating at full capacity. So let's take that time and do that. Let's invest in ourselves. So Ford in 2008, they cut spending, closed plants to match demand to production, but they increased their spend in R&D at a time when the economy was tanking. And all of this is, you have to invest in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe costs where we can cut, saving money, shoring up, but we are investing just as heavily, if not more, in the future and what that looks like and improvement. And I think you have to get out of that just survival mode and look and see where you want to be on the other side of it and really focus on that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Are there any specific areas you guys are investing in internally?
Yeah, so we have a 3-phase technology plan that we just implemented. So we are upgrading some of our measurement and some prototyping equipment. Goes along with the technology upgraded, being virtual, 3D scanners to 3D printing. And then we have the opportunity to relay out a section of our production area that was maybe a legacy business and made sense at the time. And still you can run parts there, but we have some efficiency gains we think we can get. And now maintenance has extra time, so we can do it on a straight time basis. We've got employees who can help with the move. And so about a quarter of our plant will have a new layout here in a couple months. And so that's exciting for us because it'll add capacity without a big capital investment. And when that production does come back, we'll be more efficient than ever.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Well, it sounds like you guys are doing a lot to kind of just keep going and getting through this. And I really appreciate you taking the time today to provide some insights on how you guys are getting through everything. And
thanks for the interview. It was great.